Hi everyone! Today I'm continuing the series that I started a few weeks ago with respect to the 4 temperaments and what is really important for different types to feel, to connect with in the workplace. Last time I talked about the NTs, or the rationals or the intellectuals, and today I'm going to be talking about the NF types, or the idealists. So all about that in the next few minutes. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's dive in. So, what is really important to the idealist types or to the NF types in the workplace? What is the core element that truly matters for these types to find fulfillment and satisfaction at work? Again, I'm not going to necessarily talk about specific jobs because I think that's less important, and rather I'm going to be talking about the fundamental aspects that really bring this feeling that, oh, I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right thing, I'm doing the thing that is truly fulfilling. What we know about this temperament is that for these types it is incredibly important to feel that they can contribute directly to bringing out the best in other people or to elevate the potential in other people. In some way or another, in one way or another, each temperament has something to do with people, because ultimately we live in a society where we all want to contribute in some way to improving the world or to creating something for people in the world. But for the NF types, this need to connect emotionally with others is probably the most evident from all the 4 types, which is why stereotypically a lot of NF types are indeed found in roles or positions that directly help people, like teachers, educators, psychologists, social workers, counselors, and so on and so forth. But it really doesn't have to be this way. As an NF, you can also work in completely different fields, like engineering, like management, like marketing, like medicine, and whatever you want. But the main idea is that the workplace where you are, the environment that you work in, should allow you the opportunity to truly connect with others and feel that you're contributing to improving how people feel, improving the growth of other people, helping other people shine, come out of their shell and elevate, or at least show their potential in the world and make use of their potential in the world. A lot of NF types are extremely sensitive to the idea of conflict of values. So this is something that I've lived on my own skin, and I think that it's a common experience in this world where maybe we get as a society more and more disconnected from morality and ethics. But a lot of NF types, even if they are in roles that are more stereotypically allowing them to do the thing that I described earlier in the video, like being a coach or being a psychologist or being a social worker or a teacher or whatever, if the organization where the individual is working puts the individual in the position of having a conflict of values, this will impact the NF type probably more than it would impact other types. I'm not saying that other people don't care about values and morality, that's absolutely beyond my point. But what I am saying is that NFs will probably be the most sensitive to this and will feel the most overwhelmed and unhappy when this kind of experience takes place. So, for instance, if you are a coach that works within an organization, you might really enjoy the part of your work that allows you to support other people, to help other people grow, to help other people improve their well-being, their happiness, their mental health at the workplace, or develop skills at the workplace. And you might really connect with that part of your work and be able to use your natural gifts and talents in that space. However, if the organization has a very toxic management system, or if the organization puts pressure on you to manipulate people to constantly deliver results at the expense of their mental health and well-being, and again, this can happen anywhere, but if this is a major theme or something that happens a lot, if you are the NF coach in that organization, this might impact you more. Now, the advice that I'm giving here, or the point that I'm trying to make, is not necessarily that you should leave that organization or that you should not work there anymore. What I'm trying to say, though, is that it is important to notice this and have awareness and clarity when it comes to noticing what is going on. Because oftentimes, if we are not aware of this pattern and we are not aware of the problem, we might feel very confused. We might start blaming ourselves a lot or feel that we are bad at our job, and this can have a negative impact on our self-confidence, self-esteem, and mental health. However, it is important to see what's really going on and to notice that conflict of values once it shows up. And once you see it, once you make peace with it, once you have clarity, to incorporate that in the decision-making process and see if this is really something that, has a negative enough impact on you and really outweighs the benefits of the work that you do. Because in that case, it might be a good idea to leave that company and go somewhere else. But sometimes you can also use this clarity and this awareness to do something about it and change it if possible. Maybe you can have a conversation with a manager. Maybe you can start changing and implementing some of the policies in that organization so that it starts in time to be more and more aligned. Or maybe you can simply make peace with it and accept it as part of the work that you do if it is not so strong, if it is not so overwhelming. But this is something that happens quite a lot in today's world, especially when we talk about corporations or really large companies where the main focus is profit and making money, a lot of the times at the expense of the mental health, well-being, and happiness of people. And as idealists are idealistic and might often neglect the importance of profit and making money and the more concrete deliverables, while rather focusing more on people and humanity and human flourishing, this will indeed tend to have quite a negative impact on the mental health of the practitioner. Now, what if you're working in a space where you're not necessarily obviously doing these things? Maybe you're not a social worker or a coach or a teacher or an educator or a psychologist. Maybe you do something else. There it might be sometimes a bit more difficult to find this shared element of how am I contributing to human flourishing? And that is why it is an important question to ask yourself and to really reflect. The role that I have, the job that I have, the organization that I'm working in, is it allowing me to contribute to that? Because maybe you're an engineer, or maybe you're a project manager, or maybe you're a doctor. But through the work that you do, with the team that you work with the clients that you work with, maybe you are able to contribute in that way. Maybe you are able to create that change. And if you're not doing it already, maybe there are ways in which you can shift certain things that you do in the organization to do that. Maybe you can move in a different team or department. Maybe you can have a conversation with your manager or your colleagues in order to get more projects that are aligned with that and give you more space for that. Or maybe you can actually be a pioneer who actually brings change in the organization through the role that you have, especially if you have the opportunity to have a leadership or managerial role. And sometimes when none of these things are possible, at least for a certain period of time, maybe you're in a space where you have to work in a completely different field and maybe you don't have so many job opportunities and you need the money. In that case, as a temporary solution, something else that you can do is find ways to bring that fulfillment in your life, but a little bit outside of your job. So maybe your job really does not allow space for you to do that, and maybe you can't afford quitting right now. But engaging in volunteering activities where you can contribute, or finding more of that fulfillment in your local community, in your group of friends, within your family, and contributing to the human flourishing there, can at least help you to feel a little bit better and connect more with your essence, your talents, and your values, at least temporarily. Okay, so these are my thoughts on some of the most important things for NF types, for idealist types, to find fulfillment at work. In the next two videos, I'm also going to cover the guardians, so the SJ types, and the artisans, the SP types. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Also, I just wanted to let you know, for those of you who don't know yet, that I am a professional coach accredited by the International Coaching Federation, and my background is in psychology and psychodrama psychotherapy. I offer coaching sessions aimed at helping people enhance their level of self-awareness, connect with themselves, and design a life that is truly theirs, not just a life that looks right. So if that is interesting to you, feel free to check out the link in the description below. It will take you to my website and give you more information on that. And as always, thank you very much for being with me. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next time with another video on typology.